That famous moment in America's space history, 48 years ago. Houston, we have a problem. That phrase made famous by Apollo 13 astronauts calling back to mission control. Today it isn't in space where Houston's problems lie, but rather it's that Houston is suffering from a lack of space. This Texan city is adding 150,000 people per year. And it's the same problem that applies in many Australian cities. Annually, Melbourne is adding 120,000, while Sydney is growing by 100,000. So the question is how to manage this growth and deliver quality of life. The answer could be in using technology to make our cities smarter. By connecting traffic flows and street lighting and even utility usage, it's possible to create a better urban experience. Let's look at the city of Santander in northern Spain. Similar in size to Geelong, in this Spanish city, officials have installed 20,000 sensors to monitor pollution, noise, traffic flows and parking in order to make the city operate more sustainably. Smart cities, better coordination of day-to-day traffic flows connected to smartphone technology delivers less anxiety and more efficiency. And of course, better overall health outcomes. So Fazia, a smart city initiative might not help people afford to buy a house in a capital city, but it will make city living a safer and a less frustrating experience. What role do you see the Internet of Things playing in the future of business and cities?
Well, a smart city is a connected city. And it's connected because it's taking advantage of advanced technologies such as the Internet of Things that effectively gives a city a voice. It's connecting the physical world with the digital world. And once a city has a voice, it can lead to transformational opportunities such as livability, workability and sustainability.
Can you give me an example of a good city in Australia that's doing that at the moment?
We're seeing lots of examples, whether that is in Sydney, in Melbourne, in Newcastle, in Geelong, in Ipswich, in the Sunshine Coast. Basic examples of what we're already seeing is the smart parking that you see that enables, that explains where a parking meter is available and saves you time as a result.
I might bring Kate in here. Kate, how do you see the Internet of Things helping develop smart cities into the future?
Well, I think rather than the what of the technology and the Internet of Things, I think actually the best places to start is the why. Why is the Internet of Things important to cities? And for cities like Sydney and other global cities around the world, we're all facing increasing pressures of population growth. I mean, Sydney is projected to grow by an extra 15,000 people just in the next couple of years, and all cities are growing very, very fast and becoming denser and denser. So the Internet of Things can really help us manage our cities more efficiently because of the pressures on our systems and our resources and even our communities. So Internet of Things can help with resilience of our communities. It can help us provide more responsive services to the people that we need to get them to.
Rob, your network or your business helps the Internet of Things connect better into the community. What are the limitations or what are the hurdles that cities must overcome in order to better deliver those services?
Sure. Well, I think the Internet of Things is about connecting sensors and devices through to the internet. So there are so many different types of applications and use cases and opportunities to improve efficiencies within the cities. So one of the challenges is really having the cities understand what are the key priorities and what are the key use cases and applications that will drive the needle forward for them. So in other words, having a strategy that prioritises what they need to do. Secondly, security is really important. Some applications requiring interconnection to critical infrastructure have more security hurdles and requirements to others, so understanding those up front is really important. And then of course having a framework around accessing of data and sharing the data and what other divisions within the council and the cities and external divisions would require access to that information.
I think this raises an interesting point. I want to throw it open to the panel. How can communities feel more secure as a consequence of the introduction of smart city technology? Kate?
Well, at the City of Sydney, we have a social contract with our community to be an ethical innovator in the information marketplace. So if you think of the information marketplace in terms of how we derive value, share data, and actually, you know, create, I mean, it's really about what we're trying to achieve, and we are trying to achieve better outcomes for our community. We want livability outcomes. So we're not in the business of compromising our community's privacy. We, yes, absolutely, we will always comply with the regulatory requirements, things like the Privacy Act, for example, but it's more than that. It's about choosing to not collect certain types of data from our community. So, you know, our sensor networks in the city will not collect private personal information about our community. We're interested absolutely in how people are moving around and what they're doing and where they're going so that we can manage the city better, but we're not interested in the individual data attached to individual people.
Piers, do you have any thoughts on this issue of people feeling secure in a connected smart city?
Sure. Well, certainly security is absolutely fundamental to the viability of a smart city. But one of the great opportunities presented by unlocking all of this data in the city is opening up some of it and making some of it available and sharing that data. And that presents opportunities to develop new applications of leveraging that data to deliver value to citizens that previously were not available.